When the transfer portal first opened last December, many people viewed Texas A&M as a big loser of the cycle. They lost a bunch of talent to the transfer portal, including a couple of former 5-stars who had very high expectations entering their collegiate career. One of them was wide receiver Evan Stewart, who went to Oregon, and he's been balling out so far this season. And the other big loss, which might be an even bigger loss for the Aggies, was defensive tackle Walternolen, who took his talents down to Oxford and joined the olemissrebels. And I've been on record on numerous occasions saying that Nolen is one of the greatest athletes I have ever seen, but athleticism can only take you so far. Is Nolen just an incredible athlete, or does he have the tools and upside to be an elite defensive tackle at the NFL level? That is what we will be discussing in today's video. But hey guys, if you guys are new to the channel, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Also, be sure to check out my Patreon, where I have unlocked my complete draft grade for all of my free members on Patreon. It has over 500 prospects, so if you want to learn about some of my favorite prospects, some of my guys, and read some scouting reports, I highly recommend checking it out. Leave a comment and let me know which prospects you guys would want to see in a future video, and without further ado, let's take a closer look at Walternolen. Nolen was heavily underutilized at Texas A&M throughout his career, and he really didn't put up the stats you would like to see from a former 5-star recruit. In 365 snaps in 2023, Nolen finished with 16 total pressures, 7 sacks, 20 tackles, and 21 run stops, which aren't bad numbers, but he should have been playing much more than 360 snaps. He was one of the biggest names to enter the transfer portal, and he has made a statement this year for Ole Miss, as in just 7 games, he's already played in 339 snaps and has posted 23 pressures, which is a career high, 3 sacks, 16 tackles, and 17 run stops, and has been quickly rising up many people's draft boards in a pretty loaded interior defensive line class. Nolen has some absolutely unreal athletic traits for an interior defensive lineman. He is 6'4", 290 pounds, and he has some of the most incredible burst and quickness that I have seen from a college defender. His first step is off the charts, but he doesn't slow down, and he does an awesome job of getting into the backfield because of his elite quickness and speed. He is going to blow up the combine. I'm going to tell you guys that right now. I think his numbers are really going to shock some people because his athleticism is off the charts. The area where Nolen really impressed me, however, is as a run defender. He has the quickness to get into the backfield and make a play, but it goes further than that. He has exceptional power to just run through linemen, crash downhill, and he's an incredibly reliable and strong tackler in the run game. Throughout his collegiate career, he only has 4 missed tackles, and 3 of them came in his true freshman season. He's as good as it gets when you're looking for an interior guy who can tackle, and if he gets a good angle, which more often than not he does, he is going to finish the play, and I love that about Walternolen. Nolen is also a very versatile defensive player. At Texas A&M, they played him everywhere along the defensive line, playing on the interior primarily, but in certain snaps, they lined him up off the edge, which he thrived in. He has the athleticism to win consistently and has bend to play edge rusher, which I think could really excite teams about what he could turn into at the NFL level. While he has so many things that you love to see, Nolen as a pass rusher, I think needs a little bit more refinement. He's not a bad pressure guy and not a bad pass rusher as a whole, and he's having a career season in that department, but I don't think he's really pieced it all together yet. He wins with his athleticism primarily, but his hands really need to improve. He oftentimes will get stagnant with his hands, and he needs to learn how to do a better job of winning with more finesse and not just relying on his God-given ability to get into the backfield. Because it felt like if an offensive lineman got hands on him early, it was going to be nearly impossible for Nolen to make a big play in the backfield. There are also a few technique things that need to get cleaned up in his game. Nolen does have the tendency to play with high pads, and he needs to do a better job of generating more power from his lower body and playing lower to the ground as an interior defender. But balance concerns have also been very apparent for him over the past couple of seasons. There are so many times when he's going to pressure the quarterback and he'll get met with a powerful block and he's just pushed back onto the ground. He has to get that cleaned up if he's going to thrive at the NFL level. And I also think he may need to add on a little bit more muscle. He's 290 pounds, which isn't bad, but it is a bit lower than I would like to see. And I would like to see him get up to that 300 to 310 pound range at the next level. So if you haven't gotten the picture already, Walter Nolen is an incredibly athletic, versatile defensive lineman who is super powerful and a great run defender. I think he has a skill set that translates so well to the NFL level, even though he hasn't really taken that leap as a pass rusher. He is an awesome prospect who continues to wow me each and every week, and he is my number 4 defensive tackle in the draft class. I think he has all the tools to develop into an elite player at the NFL level, and he is my number 30 overall prospect in the class. Nolen is a very versatile prospect as previously mentioned, but I think he's a perfect 3-tech at the NFL level, given his athleticism and his ability to get into the backfield. 240 of his snaps so far this season have been taken in the B gap. That is where he has seen most of his success when he is lined up between the guard and center, and it's where I think he's going to thrive in the NFL. I also think he could work as a 3-4 defensive end, which I haven't seen many people talk about, but given his quickness to beat tackles around the edge and set the edge in the run department, I think he could work as an edge rusher in a 3-4, but I think he does thrive on the interior. Walter Nolen reminds me a ton of Baltimore Ravens defensive tackle Nnamdi Madubuike. Madubuike came into the league as a very powerful run defender type of prospect who had a few questions about his pass rush upside and has turned himself into one of the best interior defensive linemen in all of football. Madubuike is not the biggest guy in the world, but is a fantastic athlete with incredible traits, and I think Nolen has a lot of similarities to Madubuike. Walter Nolen is a nasty competitor. He has some incredible power and athleticism to be one of the best players in this draft class, and this year he finally has the production to prove it. He is an awesome player, and I believe that Walter Nolen will be a first-round pick in the 2025 NFL Draft.